One, whenever and wherever you want to talk sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo, man, how the heck are you? It is Tuesday, October 5th, 2021. A pleasure to be with you. Hi, Jake.
Hello.
Jake handles the IT department at Facebook. That's why we're a little late this
That's
morning.
why the show was down and stuff.
How funny is it? True story. True story. Should probably hit start on the audio part, too.
Probably. Good idea.
The Monty Show right here, everywhere you want your podcast. True story. Right before we started this show, we were mocking Facebook for going offline yesterday and rejoicing at how great it was not to have Facebook or Instagram. And then the internet quit working at our house.
Well.
We had to reset the internet. Thanks a lot, Bezos. Or whatever your name, not Bezos.
Zuckerberg and stuff.
Zuckerberg. I saw that yesterday, too.
Nice congressional hearing.
Mark Zuckerberg. Anyway, welcome to the show. We've got to get to Monday Night Football in just a bit because my guy.
Yeah, I mean, were you aroused like the entire game last night?
I mean, I did watch the game naked on a leather couch.
Really? Wow. Okay. So that it got intense.
Justin Herbert's very good. Who's the best young quarterback in the NFL?
Oh, it has to be Herbert for sure. Right now? Yeah, Justin Herbert.
No, it's not. It's Justin Herbert.
Okay, sorry.
And I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're building an NFL franchise, you're probably taking Patrick Mahomes number one. But I think Justin Herbert has to be a close number two.
Yeah, I mean he's right there, and I think they were saying on Get Up this morning that the Chargers are better than the Chiefs, and I'm not ready to say that quite yet, but I think that
they did beat him in Arrowhead.
Yeah, I mean it's one game, the Chargers need to show that they can do this the whole year, not have issues. They need to go to the postseason, go to the Super Bowl. They got a lot to prove still, so. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but yeah, he's playing a hell of a brand of football right now.
And as much as I hate anybody with the last name Bosa, that defense is unbelievable in San Diego, who plays in L.A. in the Rams Stadium because everybody hates them. I'm telling you right now, show me your lightning bolt.
Okay.
I feel better.
Okay.
You should show me your lightning bolt. That's illegal. Yeah, that's illegal in some states, so please do be careful. But my point is... Telling you, man, the Chargers are for real. Yeah. And I actually think that, obviously the Raiders lost that game, but the Raiders are for real too. Don't just write off the Raiders.
The Raiders.
Because Derek Carr, who also, by the way, that's my guy.
What's an erection?
Right? I mean, if I had to say to you right now, NFL MVP is, who would you say?
I'd probably go with Herbert right now.
Herbert or Dak.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be outlandish if the Raiders make the playoffs. And I'm not saying they will because they do this every year. They start well, and then they crash. But I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not saying, but I'm just saying that they're saying.
And stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Dane's first one in. He says, morning, boys. Giggity says, good morning, fellas. Giggity. Hope little Giggity's well. Brylark says, morning, boys. The Chargers are a great football team. Excited to see how far they go this year. With that defense... The question is, how long is Austin Eckler going to be healthy?
Mm-hmm.
Because, Kyler Murray's short. Austin Eckler's shorter. Justin, Juston, Chesney says, let's go. Kevin Blissett says, good morning, muchachos.
Hello.
James Knight has a question for you, Jake.
Oh, God.
How they hanging? Still low, Jake?
Yeah, dude, like incredibly. Yes.
All right. So good start to the show.
Way to show up on time.
Yeah, now let's ruin your hopes and dreams with BYU because we have an update on the quarterback. Yeah, not funny, but funny. We have an update on the quarterback situation in Provo, and it's not a good one. Jaren Hall is likely not to play this game. We had been told he was dealing with a rib injury, kept him out last week. Now, multiple sources yesterday told us that he is also dealing with a shoulder injury. We have been hearing about a shoulder injury for about a week now, but it was not something that was keeping, him from playing, Jaren Hall. And now all of a sudden, this shoulder injury is starting to be talked about on a regular basis. I don't know how bad it is. I don't know what the scope of the shoulder injury is, but it looks like unless there's a miracle, Jaren Hall's not going to be available this week. And it does also look like Baylor Romney is not going to be available with this concussion. And, oh, by the way, Jacob Conover took all the ones yesterday. So it looks like it will be Jacob Conover going against Boise State on Saturday at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. Jake, how do you feel about that?
It's terrifying. I think your perfect season is at huge risk to come to an end versus Boise. I think that the problem you face here is now the offense is not the. I mean, unless Conover has something that we didn't see the other night. I mean, unless truly that the week of preparation and everything really is going to make that much of a difference for him. Which I don't believe it will, but hey, maybe I'm wrong about this kid. I think I just don't think he's ready to do what, again, Jackson Dart did for SC. I don't think we're going to get that level of a performance out of Jacob Conover. What I do think we're going to see a ton of is running the football, and that does excite me. I was on Twitter yesterday talking to some people, and people seem to think that BYU hasn't played good teams, or that this offensive line hasn't really had to go up against a legit defense yet. And what I'm telling you is it doesn't really matter who they've had to go up against. All they got to do is come out and keep doing what they've been doing, which is opening gaps and getting Algier loose at the second and third level. That's what needs to happen for them to win this game. And I would hope, frankly, that Conover just doesn't turn the football over. That's all if I'm Kalani, that's all I'm asking of this kid. Hey, take care of the football. Do not turn the football over in this game. Hand it off and make the smart throw. If nothing's there, throw it away. We'll live to fight another day, because his defense isn't too bad either. So it does terrify me that both of your starting quarterbacks are not available. And I think in a time when a lot of questions are starting to be asked about the college football playoff, and is this the year that BYU as an independent finally gets there, and could this be a special year, a year to remember? Well, weeks like this are where years to remember go to die, because this is not going to be an easy game for BYU.
No, and I think it's Boise. It's never an easy game. It is a rivalry game, to be sure. I mean, it to me, that's what this game's about. But this is what college football's about. Obviously, it's less than ideal not to have your top two quarterbacks. But listen, you have a guy in Jacob Conover that was highly recruited. This is a guy now that's going to get a week of reps with the ones all week long in practice. If indeed it plays out that he winds up starting on Saturday against Boise State, I think you're going to be just fine. I think that Tyler Algier is a guy that you can hand the football to. You're going to need your depth at running back. Obviously, Algier, Pini Katoa, the offensive line is going to have to do a deal. You're going to have to play BYU football. This defense, I'm more worried about the back end of the BYU defense than I am about the quarterbacks, frankly, because you don't accidentally do what Jacob Conover did in his, high school career and then just do nothing in college. It's very rare. Jacob Conover can throw the football. He is a good football player. And to me, we're going to see what he's all about against Boise State. Now, having said that, I think the bigger issue is Harris LaChance. I mean, this is a guy, this injury to me, this is the one that you should be worried about, because there's very little information about him right now. There is not a whole lot being said. He is not practicing. They are still trying to treat this foot lower leg injury thing, and they need him on that offensive line. I think MP is going to be fine this week. The LaChance injury is the one I'm really nervous about, because if he's not ready to go, that's a huge loss. Until he's back on that offensive line, you're not as good as you can be up front. And especially when you want to talk about a young quarterback, a kid that's coming in and making his first start in Jacob Conover, you need your best offensive line in place. And without LaChance out there, you don't have that. And that, to me, is what you should really be worried about. That's the one injury where I'm like, okay, what the heck is going on?
Yeah. Well, because you can't compensate the quarterback position. You're not able to say, okay, well, Baylor's back there, so we'll just sling it all over the field, and it really won't be a problem. We can kind of scheme with the offensive play calls that we're putting in to get the ball out quickly. But again, that's why I say this is. I'm not saying that this BYU team solely relied on Jaren and Baylor to win games. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that when you have a dual threat guy back there, or when you have a guy that can just flat out bomb it down the field, that is a dynamic that you can't teach. And so, yes, I know that Conover was highly recruited, and, he's a guy that it's no secret that he can throw the football as well. But there's a difference between being a recruit who can throw it and being a guy who's on the field with the ones doing the job. And to me, that's what I'm curious about. Like the first 3 possessions that he's out there, is the first possession a 3 and out and he looks awful? Or is the first possession a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 play drive and it finishes in a field goal or something like that? How does this game get going? What is BYU's plan to get him into the game? Because that's definitely going to be a thing. I mean, you got to get Conover loose and relaxed into this game,
Well,
and I think that guys like Isaac Rex and the Nakua brothers need to get involved early.
but I also think you need to be committed to running the football heavy and hard during the first. I would probably say if you're going to script your first 15 plays, probably 8 or 9 of those need to be runs, and the passing plays need to be comfortable. Establishing throws for Conover.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would go about it. And that would be my guess. I don't worry until if he comes out and looks the same way he did against Utah State, okay, I'm going to be worried. But you can't tell me that's going to happen when you have an entire week to prepare.
Yeah.
And you're not the number 3 guy, you're the number 1 guy. You're taking all the first team reps. You're running, you're preparing based on a game plan of what Boise State's going to do to you. I just don't have that much concern about Jacob Conover.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I know him from his high school days. We actually, I don't know if you remember this, we had him on our show in Arizona when he committed.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a sharp kid. I don't worry as much as most people are worried about it. I'm comfortable against Boise State with Jacob Conover out there.
I hope you're right. I'm not trying to be the doomsday guy here. I'm just nervous about it.
So go ahead, be the doomsday guy.
I've already been being the doomsday guy. I just don't. We can all agree that Conover is unproven at the college level. At a minimum, we can agree with that. And so, yes, this is a huge opportunity for him. There's no doubt about it. I mean, how dynamic of a team do you have if both of your starters, both of your main studs at quarterback get hurt, and you just got another guy coming off the bench? I mean, if that's not the epitome of, your 2 and 3 deep being really good at BYU, I don't know what is. So I hope for this program that he can live up to it, because the fact is he's just got to go week by week here. You're not asking Conover to take over for the rest of the season. This isn't the Charlie Brewer quit on our program situation. You've had some injuries here, and you need this guy to come in and be the Band-Aid that carries you through till Baylor. Basically that's what you're looking for. So to me, I just think this game plan is, offensively at least, is going to be, I agree with you, early they're going to run the ball a lot, but I really do think that Isaac Rex is going to be a key part of this game. He needs to be able to get open in that 8 to 10 yard intermediate route, and he needs to be open reliably. He needs to be the escape valve for when, there's nothing open down the field.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think we've talked about this, for the first month of the season. I think Isaac Rex has to be a critical part of every game plan that they have. I think he's just such a talented player that makes such a significant difference to this football team.
Yeah.
When he's getting the football. And I think when you run the ball as much as they do, and when you have the wide receiver talent that BYU has right now, Brigham. When you run the kind of offense they run, sometimes the tight end gets lost in the wash. But when you have a guy like Rex out there, I think you need to make sure that he does not. But I'm not at all worried about the quarterback position. I still maintain offensive line and secondary play are going to determine BYU's fate. I just think that's the reality of it. Let's get some of your thoughts in here because there's a lot of people commenting. How sure are you? Because I was told that Jaron Hall was ready to go. Well, I can only tell you, I'm talking to people at BYU that have, and if you look back, we told you last week that Baylor Romney was going to get the start.
You also said LaChance wasn't going to play.
Yeah, we've been pretty spot on with the information that we've been giving you. And I'm pretty confident it's going to take a miracle for Baylor Romney to be available. And if Jaren Hall has ribs and now a shoulder, two people, told me yesterday, frankly, that Jaren Hall is weeks away from being 100%. Weeks from being 100%.
But the question really is, like, could he suit up in a backup role? Could he be? Because my question is, okay, what happens if Conover gets hurt? Now what? Now where are you going?
Well, you're going to play a true freshman. That's what you're doing.
I guess. I don't know. Like, I know he's sitting there, but my question is, okay, yeah, Jaren's weeks away from being 100%, but is he weeks away from being able to come in and play a quarter when your quarterback gets hurt in the third quarter? Or can he hold you over for 5 minutes? That's what I'm just curious about, like how bad this is for Jaren, because first it was the ribs, and I was like, okay, yeah, he took a pretty big hit. That's not really surprising. Maybe he's got bruised ribs. He's just not feeling it. But then you hear about this shoulder thing, and that's what I'm really curious about. Certainly he doesn't have like a separated shoulder or anything, but like what is it, dude?
I don't know. When BYU plays everything very close to the vest to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just happen to have relationships in place that I've had for a long time since I worked here previously. And usually when there is a refusal to talk about a certain player, or, the answer is, like with Harris LaChance, the thing that really bothers you is that you have a situation where you're getting, well, I don't, there's nothing new on that. Or, he's working to get back. That's when it's like, okay, this is a problem.
Yeah.
Right? Because like with Jaren Hall last week, I got pretty good detail on that he didn't have full range of motion. The ribs are still discomfort. There's still discomfort there for him. Hey, by the way, he's also kind of battling a little thing with his shoulder. Well, okay, well then let me go ask this other guy I know who says, well, you know what, actually the shoulder thing's bigger than the rib thing right now. The rib thing's fine. The shoulder is the reason he didn't play last week. And so while there are differing opinions on what that is, there's no differing opinion that, hey, this is a shoulder thing for Jaren Hall. And as a quarterback, I don't know if you know this or not, but your shoulders are pretty important.
Yeah.
So my feeling is that this is a bigger situation than we know and that we're aware of. Mm-hmm. That's what worries me. Baylor Romney should be good to go against Baylor, is what I would guess.
God, I hope so.
Because that concussion was described as best case scenario, which it's a whiplash concussion, which is he fell backwards and hit his head. So it wasn't helmet to helmet. It wasn't a massive collision. Thankfully, it looks like the helmet did its job in mitigating as much as possible. But there is no good situation with a concussion.
Yeah.
There just isn't. And at this level, and especially the way Kalani and BYU operate, they're never going to take a risk with a kid's health.
Yeah.
They're just not going to do it. Let's get in. Let's see. Dak for MVP, man. He's got a real chance if he stays healthy. Totally agree with that. BYU fan CJ says, Conover for the win. Come on, young 4-star Coug, beat the ponies.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's a huge opportunity for him. I mean, there is no doubting that. I mean, this is an opportunity to step into a major program that's having huge success right now and to make a name for yourself. All I'm simply saying is if you're BYU, there's a lot on the line in this game for you. You have to, obviously it goes without saying, you got to win this game. If you have any hope of getting to the college football playoff, you got to win all these games. So the path each week has been different for BYU, and especially now with the injuries, it just is a more I guess more difficult. I just think it's more unknown. That's the word I would use. It is an unknown path to victory, other than to say, okay, we got to get Algier and Katoa going. We got to make sure the offensive line is disciplined with their assignments.
Yes.
And then from there, hopefully we can get Conover into the game and feeling, comfortable and loose.
I just think it's one of these things where I worry about Jaren Hall's long-term viability as a starting quarterback.
Yeah, well, you should.
This is, you're battling multiple injuries. I just wonder if you can rely on him to be ready to go week in and week out. And I guess my overwhelming opinion is at this point you would say no, unfortunately. And, because you're dealing with a guy now who both times he's gotten a chance to start has gotten hurt. And that really concerns you. And as far as Conover goes, as much as I said this yesterday, I don't like the Jackson Dart comparisons. Well, guess what? Jackson Dart came in and threw the ball all over the place, and now you're going to get that opportunity with Jacob Conover.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to come in, and if Jacob Conover throws for 300 yards and, dominates, which you would expect him to come in
300,
and
three
dominate,
touchdowns,
I don't know how do you take the job from him? BYU is in a great, terrible position, right? Because you have, for all intent and purposes, you have a quarterback in Jaron Hall who's played good, not great, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a quarterback in Baylor Romney who's played great. He's come in. Now, everybody says, well, Monty, come on. It was USF, and it was your mom's cousin's, badminton team at Utah State. I mean, Jaron Hall did it against a Pac-12. Okay, well, then don't turn around and say the Pac-12 sucks, and then say Jaron Hall did it against a Pac-12, right?
Yeah.
Well, now you have a guy in Jacob Conover that's going to come in, and he's going to start the only game that matters, which is Boise State. And if he throws the ball all over the yard, I don't want to hear, well, it was Boise State. And I get it. Boise State sucks against the run. Tyler Algier should have 200 more yards. Jacob Conover on offense is going to decide how well he runs, right? Because if they can't throw the ball, Boise's going to stack the box, and all of a sudden, the team that can't stop the run becomes pretty good at stopping the run.
Yeah.
So my point is, this is a big moment in time, and it's a difficult position for Kalani Sitake to be in because they're going to have to decide which one of these quarterbacks is their best fit going forward. Because I would guess 2 of the 3 will be good to go against Baylor.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully, good Lord, hopefully Jacob Conover stays healthy because I don't even want to talk about the possibilities past that. But I mean, you're looking at Romney and Conover, and if I'm Kalani Sitake, I'm going to have a hard time going back to Jaron Hall.
Yeah.
With all the injuries, and if Conover shows out, I'm probably sticking with Conover. That's just me. But I want a guy to be a quarterback, my starting quarterback for 3 years. That's what I want. And it's a tough spot for Jaron and Baylor to be in. I know that sucks, but
I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think you're taking if you're Kalani, I don't know how you can play, no matter what Conover does, you're not playing Conover over Baylor Romney. I think Baylor has shown that he can beat any defense and do what you need him to do.
Well, I would remind you that Jacob Conover is a kid that supposedly has a hose for an arm.
Yeah, but that's my point. So we'll see. I mean, if he shows out, then it makes the conversation more difficult. But what I'm saying is we already know what Baylor can do. We already know what he can do and the effect that he has. So I think it's like, okay, if Conover rolls out with 3 or 350 and 3 touchdowns, no picks, and has that kind of game, okay, yeah, the conversation is a little more difficult. But if he's like 150, 200 yards, a touchdown and a pick, okay, that's kind of an average outing, So I think it just depends what he does.
Yeah, and I would remind you that Queen of Raps endorses Jacob Conover. Okay. He's got a national, an NIL deal with them. But don't forget, I mean, this kid is – Jacob Conover is a stud. I mean, there's no two ways about that. I mean, he's already served a mission. I mean, he's a mature guy. Just sitting here looking at some of his high school numbers, I think he's going to be, as a 4-star recruit, was a 90 composite at 247. I mean, everybody wanted him. I think every school in the Pac-12, Alabama, right? Ole Miss, South Carolina, everybody wanted him. The kid can throw the football. And I feel like this is the right guy for this job. And I think that if he comes out and he throws 300, 350, 3 touchdowns, doesn't turn it over, Algier runs for 2, it's over. He's your starting quarterback until he's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I
don't think it's that simple. I just in reality, I don't think it's that simple for the program. I don't think that you can just say, like, I agree with you on Jaron. I think Jaron's probably out of the mix at this point, but I don't know how you say to Baylor, hey, yeah, you're not the starter anymore. It's Conover and that's it until he gets hurt.
I think your play does the talking.
Yeah.
Your play, Jacob Conover has. And I don't want to get carried away, But Jacob Conover has the ability to be arguably the best quarterback that BYU's ever had.
Yeah.
He has that kind of ability. And I want to say, and I'm going to read the quote exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But Phil Steele said, quote, I ended up going with true freshman Jacob Conover. He's not really a true freshman. He was there all last year and competed against the scout team. If you have 3 quarterbacks that are dead even heading into fall, I usually go with the youngest and most talented one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay. He continued, I think Jacob Conover is a rare type of talent at BYU. I expect him to leave BYU as one of the best ever. This is not just another guy.
Right.
And if he comes in and throws the ball all over the yard and you win this game and you're 6-0 heading to Baylor, Jacob Conover's your starting quarterback. And that's why I say this is such a difficult moment in time for Kalani and this staff. I think it's incredibly difficult to ask Kalani Sitake and his offensive guys to choose one of these quarterbacks. It's one of the most difficult decisions that they're probably ever going to make. And if Conover comes out and balls out against Boise State, and you've got to choose between him, okay, well, I can eliminate Jaron because, well, he's injured, he's not healthy, we got to let this kid get healthy. If you got to choose between Baylor Romney and Jacob Conover, I'm going Jacob Conover simply because he's younger and he will have showed out against Boise.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm not trying to be stubborn and disagree or anything. I agree the kid's got a ton of talent, but I need to see him do it, right? It is, I understand that Phil Steele is saying this kid is great. I understand that he was a 4-star recruit and he's got all the intangibles and the metrics and the name and everything. What I'm telling you is that I don't care about any of that. I care about what's on the field, and I want to see him go out. If this kid is truly a 4-star recruit and he's got everything going for him, cool. He should come out and he should dominate Boise. He should. And if he doesn't, then I think you've got one guy, not two. So my point just is yes, talented, great recruit, amazing job getting him into the program. Show me what you got, kid. Show me that you can do it. Show me that you can come out here after a week of preparation against a Boise team that, frankly, you should beat if you're BYU, and beat them, dominate them, run them up and down the field. That's what I want to see.
Well, the thing that scares you is BYU's a 3-point favorite, which means this is a pickup.
Yeah, they think it's going to be a really tight game. And in tight games, talent takes over. So theoretically, BYU should be fine. But I'm telling you that this is his first start at BYU. This is nervy. This is, hey, I need to get my feet under me on the field. Let's complete those first couple of passes.
Yeah.
And then let's get going.
Listen, I think that when you have the talent that BYU has, and you're playing a team like Boise, who's played one of the most difficult schedules in the country, and they're, 3-2? It's an afternoon game. It's on ABC TV. I'm fired up. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a fantastic football game. And again, if all this plays out the way we think it's going to play out, and Jacob Conover plays, and MP plays, and that defensive line seems to be back to 100%. At least 100% availability. I think BYU has a very good chance to win this game. A very good chance to win this game. And if you're 6-0, heading to David Koresh and company. David Koresh, you're going to be in good shape. All right, let's get some of the comments in here. By the way, if you're here right now, please give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate that. Liking our videos helps our channel grow, which we continue to grow exponentially.
Meteoric rise to the galaxy
Of awesomeness.
Yeah.
Whatever. We currently have 2,349 subs.
I'm telling you, yesterday we were at 2,319. Now we're at 2,340. You got less than 2 weeks to get in this thing.
We're at 2,500. We now are 150 subscribers away.
Got less than 2 weeks.
We started this at 1,000 subscribers away.
No. Oh, yeah, this. I thought you meant the show. Sorry.
No, we started. Try to stay with me.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay?
Sorry.
Try to stay with me.
Sorry. My bad.
We started this Traeger Smoker giveaway at 1,500 subscribers. And we were like, hey, when we get to 2,500, we're going to give this away. Okay, that's years away. All right, cool. We're 150 away. And it's been like a month and a half. So let's go. All you have to do is subscribe to our channel. Then all you have to do is take a picture that you're subscribed, tag us on social, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, The Monty Show, MONTY, The Monty Show, and you have to tag us both, SLC Supercars. And you can win the Traeger Ironwood 650. And as well, we're giving away an Xbox Series S. It's 120 frame rates per second, motherfuckers. See how I bleep myself there? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're a family show. We don't.
What's up, motherfuckers?
Okay, the drops do, but I don't. Let's see. Casey Finlinson says, given a week of prep and knowing he's the number one, feel confident in Conover, especially with the talent that surrounds him. Absolutely. I have no doubt he's going to come out and just, he's going to show, man.
I hope that my gut instinct is wrong. I hope that they do great.
It usually is. CJ says, I'm honestly not worried. I think we have the people around him to make it work still. Am I the only one that's worried about this Harris LaChance thing?
Yeah. I mean, they're not talking about it, which tells you it's bad. It's really bad.
I think he's going to be out sometime. The Good Finder says A-Rod is looking more like a genius all the time. Roderick's done a really nice job. With this offense. In hindsight, giving all three equal reps in fall camp looks like it was the right move for sure. I think Tyler can feed the Boise State defense. Gives up 200 yards rushing a game. They do. They're not great. Spencer Morgan says usually the backup QB looks far better stepping in mid-game than they do after a full week of prep as number. I disagree with that. I think when you're and he's not a typical Jacob Conover's not your prototypical freshman. He's just inexperienced as a starter at the college level.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to do fine. I think with a week of, you're not planning on playing. I mean, Baylor Romney's been pretty durable. You're not planning on playing. Like it is, you come into the middle of a game plan. And by the way, he did fine. There were a lot of people who were like, oh, he couldn't throw the ball. I disagree. He couldn't throw the ball. Why would you not run the ball with Algier doing what he was doing? I mean, I think he was fine.
I understand where those people are coming from. Like, it wasn't a thing where there's a difference coming in the middle of a game. There's a difference between coming in and just being able to sling it all over the place, and that's, what won you the game, versus, not really passing too much and just kind of handing it off. Now, they were ahead. It makes sense to hand it off. I completely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also agree with the idea that he didn't look 100% confident out there. And I think that changes for him with the prep. So that's why I say I don't think it's going to be a dumpster fire. I think he's going to be fine, but I'm not looking for fine. This program doesn't need fine. This program needs a guy back there who can burn you deep. This program needs a guy back there who can throw it all over the field and make you cover the entire field. And that's what you have in Baylor Romney. And that's why I'm saying, hey, I'm not just going to write off Baylor Romney if this kid has one nice game against Boise State. Baylor's shown he can do it week in and week out. And the problem is Baylor is better than Boise State. So when you get to Baylor, assuming that they beat Boise and both of these guys are healthy, well, my instinct says that you're going with Baylor Romney. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it depends what Conover does.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
I don't understand how you can just jump on hey, this kid's our starter train. Like, I don't know how that works, dude.
Because it's very similar to Jackson Dart. Who are you starting? Keaton Slovis or Jackson Dart?
Bro, the difference is Keaton Slovis is not nearly as good as Jackson Dart. Conover and Romney are like equal, according to what everyone's saying this morning.
Well, but this is all assuming that Jacob Conover comes out and shows on Saturday, which I expect him to. I fully expect Jake, and maybe I have too much confidence in him. I don't know. I fully expect Jacob Conover to come out and throw the football aggressively.
And that's what I'm saying. So, like, assuming that happens, right? Assuming that he has a good day against Boise, which theoretically he should, the difference between the SC situation and the BYU situation is Keaton Slovis is not nearly as dynamic as Jackson Dart was,
Okay.
And I think that I think that Conover and Romney are pretty damn close, frankly. If Conover shows he can push the ball down the field when it's needed, if he shows that he can put touch on the ball down the sidelines, if he shows that he can hit the pass in the flat in stride for the back, you're like, all right, these two are the same guy.
Well, and again, I'm just going to say that the secondary is going to win or lose this game for BYU, because I think we all recognize that if there's one thing that Boise can do, it's throw the football. I mean, and we've seen them. They've played an incredibly difficult schedule, not to be redundant. You know, I just, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I'm just saying. Let's just get to the game. I'm trying to measure my words, and I shouldn't. I'm a little concerned about the secondary. That's what worries me.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look great last week.
Utah State ran by you. Now Utah State has some smaller, quicker guys that, you know, I thought Bonner did a nice job under incredible pressure. I thought the defensive line did a really nice job. The blitz packages, the scheme in disguise that, you know, Tuiaki brought to that game plan against Utah State, I thought was really good. But they were still able to get the ball out and get it down the field. That worries you a little bit. All right. R. Crane says starting Conover would be a problem only if you want to win. He's not ready, and the coaches have little confidence in him. That was clear.
I don't know about all that. I think that's a bit harsh. I
totally disagree with that.
I think what we're all agreeing on, no matter what side of the fence you're on here, is that this is a huge week for Jacob Conover.
Yeah.
I mean, this is you know, the best opportunity that you could possibly ask for. And I think you don't have a quarterback problem yet. I think Conover needs to go and ball out, and then you've got a quarterback problem. So let's see him do it.
Listen, if you score 10 points against Boise, okay, we'll have a different conversation on Monday.
Well, I mean, if you have 10 points against Boise, he's not playing. I mean, this is Baylor Romney's job. But if he puts up 30, 35, okay, different conversation. Now we have a quarterback controversy.
I don't believe for a second that the coaching staff doesn't believe in Jacob Conover. I think that's crazy. I mean, I think there's a lot of people who just don't know who this kid is. I mean, when you've taken some time away from football to serve and you come back and you compete in camp and you're going up against Jaron and Baylor, you tend to get lost in the wash there. And I think that he is going to jog your memory a little bit with his performance against Boise State. And if he doesn't, he won't be here, period. This is the sad reality of college football is you're going to get one shot. When you're in this kid's position, when you're Jacob Conover in this current time with BYU on this incredible run, you're going to get one shot. And if you want to be the starting quarterback, the first game they play in the Big 12, that happens on this Saturday.
For real, though.
That's where this happens.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what's on the line for Jacob Conover. If he comes out and he throws the ball well, they win, they roll, he plays well the rest of the season, he's going to be your starting quarterback for the next 3 years. That's how college football works. It's happened time and time again. A year from now, Jackson Dart's going to be the starting quarterback and will have been. As soon as his knee surgery is healed and he's ready, my guess is they're going to give him every opportunity to take Keaton Slovis's job at SC. Because he's young. He can lead your club for the next 3 years. You can recruit with him. That's what you need. You need a quarterback. This is the Utah conversation we always have. The Utes don't have a quarterback that you can recruit wide receivers with, right? You want to go and win national championships? Come and play with Jackson Dart at USC. Look at Urban Meyer. He's out cheating on his wife, but on Saturdays we win football games with him as a head coach. Okay, that was probably a stretch. Anyway, the point is, look at our head coach here at USC, Kalani Sitake. He got BYU. Okay, I'll stop.
I'm a man.
Anyway, the point is, probably didn't help myself there at all. Eric C. says, how about them Aztecs finally ranked? Yeah, your Aztecs are doing well. I mean, for being, you know, where are the Aztecs? They're in New Mexico, right? New Mexico State Aztecs. That's who you mean?
Right.
I think that, you mean Northern Arizona University, the Aztecs? He means San Diego State. I'm being a jerk. Spencer Morgan says, well, Monty is really drinking the Conover Kool-Aid. I'm chugging it. I'm not sipping it. I mean, stop it. Stop it. He's drunk on the Kool-Aid this morning. Well, and I smoke crack. Roy Wall says, like I said yesterday, Hall is fragile. Conover is a deer in the headlights. Romney needs to get healthy for Baylor. What is it that you didn't see Saturday in Jacob Conover? Well, you didn't see a guy that came out and they clearly had a leash on him, right?
Yes.
But did you see a guy that looked like a deer in headlights and was scared to be there?
I saw a guy that wasn't that it just didn't feel confident. It didn't. The throws they did make were not anything to write home about. I mean, that's what I saw. Like it wasn't like he came in and you're like, all right, yes, we got this guy. This guy's coming in and doing some nice things. It wasn't that they ran it a lot. Everybody expected them to run it a lot. But what I think you didn't see was, the tight window throw or taking a shot down the field if you had to, or like there just wasn't much there where you were like, all right, this kid's capable. And that's why I think people doubt him.
But you understand that was his first snap in 3 years.
Yeah, I get it. You asked the question. I'm answering the question. I'm not saying that he's not going to be capable come Saturday. I'm sure he'll be fine. But what I'm telling you is that you can't just assume that the kid is going to perform. And that's why I have a problem with saying, well, if he performs against Boise, it's his job. I have a serious problem with that from a team perspective because Baylor has shown you that he can do it week in and week out, and there's a high confidence level there.
But there are a couple things to consider. And if you disagree with me on this, I'm coming over the table and kicking your ass. Okay, just know that.
Okay.
They were in the lead, and they were burning clock. They were running the football. He was 5 of 9 for like 50 yards.
Whatever.
Right? Tyler Algier was having a career night. He ran for 200 yards. I think he did exactly. I think Jacob Conover did exactly what the ball club needed. He didn't turn the ball over. He did not look. I don't believe he was sacked. He moved. He was mobile. They got rid of the football.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I don't know. Anyway, okay, I'll agree to disagree. I will.
All gas, no break.
Okay. Tanner says if BYU secondary can get healthy this week, the defense generally should be fine. Boise's going to throw the football. They're not going to run the football. They're going to throw the football. And BYU has not shown the ability to cover. I mean, if you look at now, granted, you didn't have your 2 best defensive linemen, but you look late in that UCF or USF game, they threw the ball. I think that's what worries you. The secondary's dinged up. And, Boise's got some arms and some legs. And so you're concerned about that. Spencer Morgan says Utah State has the best receiver in the state in Tompkins. I don't disagree with that. And he had a nice evening. That corner route for the touchdown, indefensible. I don't know how you defend that. What was it? A sluggo, I guess, is what you would call it. But the secondary worries me.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it is. The secondary worries me. By the way, I personally think Gunnar Romney's the best wide receiver in Utah. Just my opinion. Greg Hawkins says Witt looked heartbroken in his presser and openly admitted that this is the most difficult year as a coach. It's just a tough year for Utah. I think the team will bounce back with a different head coach. Because I just don't think, all this talk about retiring the number 22 and we're going to play for. I understand it's a tough season, but even before the Aaron Lowe tragedy. And by the way, did anybody watch the Snapchat video that came out of that shooting? I mean, that's crazy to me. Just crazy.
You shouldn't be at house parties.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why would you be? Anyway, point is, there was something wrong with this team before the Aaron Lowe tragedy. And they have not been the same Utah football team. Last year, throw it out, okay, because of the Rona.
Mm-hmm.
This year, I don't know what excuse you make. Because, again, everybody keeps talking about, well, the Aaron Lowe shooting, and how could you expect them? And I would just remind you that Brewer quit before the Aaron Lowe shooting. And the Brewer situation happened before that. And they were not very good before that. And they were plotting and methodical before that. And they lost to BYU before that.
Mm-hmm.
And they lost to San Diego State before that. I would just remind you of that. And I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but the Aaron Lowe thing is the tragedy that was that shooting is not what is wrong with this football team. It's not. We're going to find out who you are Saturday against USC. We're going to figure it out. And I just think I think there is something wrong inside that Utah football program. And I think change is rapidly approaching.
Yeah.
I do not believe that Kyle Whittingham will remain the head coach of this team by his own hand. I think he resigns. I think it's time for something new for Kyle Whittingham. I don't know. I think the Aaron Lowe situation probably cemented that because I've never seen him this emotional for this amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult thing, but I think overall this time was coming either way.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It is it's going to be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see. And look, I see all your comments about Urban Meyer and Greg Haskins, your comment was filtered. Urban Meyer's not getting hired at USC. I said this yesterday on the show. Do you really think that you're going to, knowing what you know now about Urban Meyer, and, by the way, there's a new cameraing allowed on the Urban Meyer grind.
It's not good.
Urban Meyer's not getting hired at USC.
Yeah.
So we can sit here and we can fantasize and think about, and I know USC fans were all excited about that. You really think you're going to hire that guy to be your next head coach? I think Lane Kiffin has a better chance of getting his job back than Urban Meyer does at USC. I just don't see that happening. I just don't. I really don't.
Yeah, I just don't think you can hire a guy who has the character issues, and I think the character issues have clearly been with him everywhere he's been. It's just who he is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because I think there's going to be, again, I can't see Kalani leaving BYU right now.
No.
I know they want him. I know that their number one candidate is, Franklin. I know that Bieniemy is a guy in that mix. But this is going to be a long process. You're going to have to sit on your hands for this because the guys they want are in important times in their season. And you're not going to get Kalani or James Franklin or Eric Bieniemy or anybody else that's employed as a football coach to interview for that job right now. I just don't see that happening. I really don't. I think it's one of those things where USC is just on the clock.
Well, and they knew that when they hired Helton, or when they fired Clay Helton. So,
yeah.
They knew that this was going to be the process. So I don't think they're in a rush. I just think it's how it plays out.
The Pac-12's a mess, dude.
Yeah.
It is so frustrating to be a fan of the Pac-12. I mean, incredible. By the way, does BYU belong in the college football playoff, even if they run the table?
Yeah. If they run the table, they do. But it's very simple. One loss and you're done.
I think the issue is, speaking of the Pac-12 being putrid, I think the issue is that you're going to have to justify your schedule because the Pac-12 has been just garbage. And
Yeah.
Boise hasn't been Boise. Utah State's not good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think you're going to have trouble. I think they're going to have trouble. And
I
it just
think
depends.
It's a balance. It's a balance between being undefeated and having a crappy schedule, So it's like, we have it seemingly before this year because Clemson's not good this year, obviously. But, when it was the Trevor Lawrence, Etienne days, you had a team in Clemson that had a crappy-ass schedule every single year because of the conference they play in, but yet they were still in. So I don't know. Like, I think obviously Clemson got more, street credit, if you will, than BYU will, but I think if you're BYU and you're undefeated, it's kind of hard to keep you out of the college football playoff. But that's just me.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's gonna be a difficult road to hoe. They're gonna have to go undefeated without question. Right? Let's switch gears, talk a little NBA because the Jazz opened the preseason last night in San Antonio, and not almost anybody here saw it. And I know, by the way, this game is completely meaningless. They shot 32%. We're screwed. Who cares? It's game one of the preseason in San Antonio, and you didn't watch the game. It means absolutely nothing. What happened last night means nothing. And I know that Jazz fans are excited about Jared Butler, and he could have scored 100 last night. It means nothing.
Yeah.
With all due respect, I think you're just trying to shake the rocks out. I mean, you look at the guys who didn't even play in this game. You look at the way that they shot the ball. Like, it means, I mean, it literally means nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, I just think the streaming thing and the lack of being able to watch the game is the issue. I think people were pissed. I know people were pissed that they couldn't watch the game. And I was upset about it. I was looking for it last night, and I'm like, dude, like, how do we not have, like, first it's the Pac-12, and now we don't have, we don't have Jazz games on TV? Like, how does that work? How's that even possible, So, I don't know, man. I think it's just, I don't think you can be a Utah or a Utah Jazz or, anybody and not be on TV. I don't understand that thought process.
And by the way, you didn't have it readily available for stream.
Yeah. How does that work, dude? It's cool that you're on KSL. Great. Nobody gives a damn. Nobody at 7 o'clock at night is listening to the radio.
That's the hard part of like this KSL zone thing. Like KSL winds up managing the zone. They didn't buy the zone. They just took over management of it. And so they're dual streaming the games. So they're on KSL and they're on the zone.
Mm-hmm.
The KSL has a massive signal. The zone has always had a crappy signal. And everybody's like, oh, game changer. Well, cool. Where can I watch the game on TV? And I can't. And it's just, it is what it is, right? Like, I mean, that's cool that none of your main players really played. I mean, obviously Donovan played, but you didn't play Rudy, Joe, you didn't play Bogdanovich. Like,
yeah, it's not about, listen, it's not about the actual product on the floor in this game, right? It's not about like win or loss or you shot 30% or we're not there yet with the Jazz. That's not
no.
The reason I wanted to talk about this today is because I feel like more and more we're getting situations where, you're just not putting your best foot forward to give the best coverage of your product. How is it that Utah is not on DirecTV? Help me understand. How does that work, dude? Like, how is it that the Utah Jazz, the only professional sports team in town, doesn't have every single game every single year on TV, including the preseason? How does that happen?
I don't know.
Why do I have to? Do you know how frustrating it is? And not that not that fans matter or any organization gives a damn, but do you know how frustrating it is to be like, cool, yes, Jazz are playing tonight for the first time in several months since they got that ass beat by Terrence Mann in the corner.
Okay.
I want to see the Jazz.
Good Lord.
Well, it's true though. Tell me, Jazz fans, tell me it's not true that you weren't thinking that last night. All right.
Well, Jazz Twitter was upset about it.
New season. We can let go of the Clipper thing. New season.
The worst tweet I saw last night essentially said, "Same old Jazz, can't watch them on TV."
Yeah.
And
that's the sentiment you get.
But you got to understand there needs to be some time, right? Like you have a spectacular new owner. Just give him time to get his TV deal in place. And that's going to happen. As for the outcome last night, the Jazz shot 32%. Who cares? I'm not like what happened last night. I'm more concerned that you played Donovan Mitchell 20 plus minutes. Why? Why would you even risk that? It is the I don't know. The NBA preseason is so useless. Doak had a nice game last night. Jared Butler had a nice game last night. How many minutes are those guys going to play in the regular season? I mean, in my opinion, Udoka Azubuike's not going to be more than a 10-minute guy. You're just not. You didn't pay Whiteside that much money, and the albatross that is Rudy Gobert's contract means you're not going to play him 15 minutes a night, right? I mean, he's not going to play that. Somebody was tweeting at me about my guy Elijah Hughes. He looked good. He looked good in game 1 of the preseason. I am of the mind that most of these guys, now Jared Butler's a little different, it's nice to see him come out and play well and feel good. It's his first game as a pro and, You like the numbers he puts up, and you're excited about that. But, I mean, outside of Butler, I mean, just don't ride this hype train.
Don't drink the juice.
Right, but that's what tends to happen in Jazz country. Oh, it's game 1 of the preseason. Just start printing the championship banner now. Did you see Doak dunk that ball? Settle the down. Like, just relax.
Here's what's going to happen, Tonto.
Right? Just relax is what I'm saying. I have to pirate Jazz games as well as Cardinal games. Our only choice on Sunday is Denver, and it makes me puke, says the night guy.
NFL package.
Cam Harrison says, friend of mine is from Dallas. He pays monthly subscription for all Mavericks games. But that's what the Jazz need. The Jazz need, frankly, the Jazz should have what the Lakers have. And I know that the Lakers have their own thing, man. They have their own unique content. And again, I will just say, and I think you're going to get that, but AT&T Sportsnet is not doing the job.
No.
The Utah Jazz need their own thing. And if every Jazz game is not streaming on a mobile phone somewhere, you're not doing it right. You're not doing it right. It is, and again, as much as the on-floor result doesn't matter, not having this Jazz game on TV readily why is it not on KJazz?
Yeah, don't get it.
Why? What sense does this make? It just is. It's embarrassing. Their TV deal is embarrassing. You're an NBA franchise that cannot be watched on a regular basis on a mobile device. We're not getting inside the practice. We're not getting, features and lifestyle shit. And we're not getting all the content that most good teams put out. The Jazz don't do that. Sure, you're getting beached by the media. Oh, the media, oh my God. Right? I mean, the glowing reviews. Oh my God. Jared Butler is, I mean, what shoes do you think Jared Butler is going to wear in the NBA Finals this coming season? I'm curious. When we're having the parade, through Temple Square, is Donovan going to be throwing out some of his shoes, bro? That's where Jazz fans and the media are.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, A, slow your roll, and B, it's embarrassing they're not on TV.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. Butler to allow Joe to camp in the corner. Joe's not going to be in the corner wearing a Jazz uniform. Just saying. And James Knight, I know that you're a huge Joe Ingles guy.
I'm going to get medieval on your ass.
Where does he fit into this offense? Because you know who Joe Ingles is? Joe Ingles is Steve Kerr at the end of his career, which is, hey, just make sure there's not a wrinkle in the warm-up, okay? We really want to make sure that your warm-up outfit is perfectly pressed so that you look good. And then, hey, here's a pat on the ass, and hey, good job. Hey, remember to run over that screen. Don't go under, go over. You know what I'm saying? Put some shrimp on the Barbie, mate. That's who Joe Ingles is going to be. He's going to be a coach that's going to play a few minutes. He'll knock down some threes. And during the season, James Knight's going to be like, you dumb son of a bitch. I told you. He can still hit threes. He can still hit threes. Joe Ingles is a valuable member of this team. That might be true. As a coach, he is very valuable. I mean, there is, but as a player, if Joe Ingles is playing 20 minutes a game, it's too much.
That's not what we're about.
It's too much. It's too much. Who are you going to take off the floor to play Joe Ingles? James?
Luka's mom.
No. Luka's mom, from what I understand, you can go to the hole with Luka's mom.
Hey.
But the point is, okay, that was probably too abrupt. Anyway, what I'm saying is, see, what had happened was... all I'm saying is, if you look at Joe as a 1-2-3 on this team, you're not taking Conley off for him. The days of point jingles are over, right? Because you're not taking Butler off the floor for him. You're not taking Don off. You're not taking Clarkson off. Are you going to take Bogdanovich? Well, but now you have more depth there, right? And now it depends on, Eric Paschall's going to play your 3-4-5. We saw him playing a little small and a little bigger last night.
Well, we didn't physically see it.
Well, no, it's a good point.
Yeah.
It wasn't on
just make
TV
sure,
because it's the Jazz. They're not on TV.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is,
Kick it, we'll flow.
yeah, we'll listen to the game on KSL together, and we'll smoke wings on the Traeger we give away. But the point is, listen, man, I like Joe Ingles. I respect Joe Ingles. But him and Kyle Whittingham are going to hang out after the season. Yeah, you know.
Bro.
James Knight says,
You are cold.
James Knight's like, hey, do you guys even watch Jazz games? LOL.
And kick a person when he's down.
The Knight guy says, Tanner, yeah, that's a joke. What did Tanner say? It's something not good. The Jazz aren't the only pro team in Utah. Don't forget the Real Salt. Okay, stop. That's a good point, though. Real Salt Lake games are on TV.
You know.
Okay, let's move on. Look into the app live stream. You'll get every sport you can imagine. Okay. Brad Lark says Joe might as well already have been traded. I'm sure the Jazz have already told him that's their intention. Well, I mean, are they going to pick up his option next week?
No.
Because he's option able next week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, like it'll be there. Welcome to the show, Christopher Kennedy. Good luck. Hope you win the Traeger. He tagged us both on
See, it's
Twitter.
that simple, man. That's how you get subscribed and get in.
BYU Mafia said he deleted his tweet. I can't see your tweet. He's probably going to resend it.
Vanish mode.
No, it wasn't vanish mode. Do you know how when somebody deletes a tweet, they
Yeah.
tweet it and then delete it? I couldn't see it. Anyway. All right.
All right. Good talk. Good talk.
Did you notice Facebook was down yesterday?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep. Noticed it. I actually noticed it on Instagram first, to be honest with you. When it was like, couldn't load feed. Can't load the feed.
Okay, Jeremy Bolton, why would you say something like that?
What did he say?
What a jerk. I'd rather watch my dog's ass get vacuumed than watch soccer.
Wow.
What? By the way, so we went to Petco last night because
boy.
we had to get a larger cone of shame.
Oh, boy.
Because he is just at the buffet of his butthole. Right? Like my dog. I'm serious. Like I don't know I don't know what he's cooking down there. But my man is just eating chocolate cake. Yeah, it does.
That's a gnar, dude. So you got this huge cone of shame.
Yeah, and then he runs up to you and he's like, hey, can I lick your face? Can I lick your face? I have feces on my tongue. Let me lick your face. No, I'm good, bro. Thanks.
My fucking ass.
No. Yeah, so my dog has had like whatever. Frankly, I warned him about safe sex. Like he went out and got whatever this viral thing in his butthole is.
Where are we at in society today?
And so we thought it was over, and he started licking again. So we were like, okay, well, we're gonna have to get a bigger cone of shame. So we did.
Okay. And he's been unhappy about that.
Yeah, I couldn't find him this morning. We put it on last night.
Okay.
Couldn't find him this morning. He wasn't on the couch where he usually sleeps. He wasn't down here. Had to go. Of course, I walked all the way downstairs. I had to walk all the way back upstairs, and he was sleeping like on the floor next to a bed, between a bed and a chair in my mother-in-law's room. What are you doing? He's being weird.
Yeah.
Although if I was wearing a cone of shame, it'd be weird too.
Yeah. I mean, it's frustrating.
Facebook was out yesterday.
Yeah.
How about Mark Zuckerberg losing like billions of dollars?
$7 billion
in worth.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a cool offshoot of this. Which is good. Ooh, David Montgomery, Bears running back, only expected to miss a month.
Good. Yeah, they say he avoided the ACL tear, so that's huge.
Which is good.
I mean, Andy Dalton will still be the quarterback then, but, at least they'll have him back on the field.
I would agree. Is Facebook bad for us? I think Facebook is bad for us.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't use it. And like I said yesterday, I unlinked my Instagram from my Facebook.
Yeah.
I haven't deleted the Facebook app off my phone altogether, although I probably should. And my wife just came sprinting into our studio with the cone of shame, which means she took it off the dog, and I'm not sure why. But anyway, the point is,
yeah,
I thought it was very good. It was cool to see people celebrating and being liberated from Facebook and Instagram yesterday. I actually thought that was one of the big narratives on social yesterday is people didn't miss Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah, people were really happy about it, and there's a bunch of jokes being made about it, and I think it just goes to show you that we have to be more honest with ourselves. Like, we got to stop taking things in that we don't like, and if you don't like Facebook, like, don't be on Facebook, you know? Like, I feel like it's pretty straightforward, and I think that social media is just a very tough thing. It's
an addiction.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I don't know how you don't see that. Like, social media is an addiction straight away. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, candies, nuts, nothing.
Nothing.
Like, it is absolutely an addiction. And I don't think that there's even much to talk about, you know, like it is. To me, Facebook is just an absolute cesspool of death and violence.
And negativity.
And honest to goodness, if Facebook got shut down tomorrow, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Because I just think it's terrible for our world. We had a hoax conspiracy theory about our presidential election because of Facebook. The misinformation and lies about the vaccine lives on Facebook. Like, the damage that Facebook does in society, like QAnon, lives on Facebook.
Yes.
How many people have said, well, you know, I saw a story on Facebook and didn't get vaccinated? Well, they didn't say it because they're dead. It was in their eulogy and the speeches at their funeral.
Yeah. Where
their family was like, well, hey, you know, he saw a story on Facebook. And
yeah, and I think if you haven't seen the 60 Minutes thing on this, go on YouTube. It's on YouTube. It is compelling, to say the least.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Daryl says, closed Facebook 6 months ago. Feels good. Only do Twitter for laughs. I like it. And it's funny you asked, Marcus, about the $6,000 bed, because I don't have the $6,000 bed anymore. And I'm actually sleeping really well.
What?
I slept really well last night again. Now, my wife bought a blanket that weighs like 10,000 pounds. So when me and Nighttime P Guy hung out last night at 3:30, I had a foot cramp trying to kick the weighted blanket that we use back into position. Like the worst foot cramp ever. But then once that was done, I went right back to sleep. But that blanket's warm. It like cuddles you.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I like the weighted blanket a lot.
If you've never tried a weighted blanket, it's totally worth it.
It is heavy, though.
Yeah.
It's weighted. That means it's heavy. But I actually slept pretty well last night again. Like, we got the new bed last Friday. And this has been, I didn't sleep so good Friday night. But now, like Saturday, Sunday, Monday night, I've slept really well. As good as I've slept the last 3 nights in a month.
Good.
And I think it's making a difference.
It matters.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely matters, for sure. There's no doubt about it. And I think that sometimes we try to do too much with simple things in life, you know? If it's not broke, don't fix it type thing.
Cabe Christalib says, but without Facebook, where do I go to find a group of underwater basket weavers?
Hey, look here, man.
Somewhere else. You know, like, yeah, go to Meetup. Right, the 2016 election, right? Yes, it was right, but not on Facebook. It's just amazing to me. It's amazing to me how addicted to Facebook people are.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's literally just a place where you see a bunch of negativity.
I don't like I like Instagram. I happen to be a fan of Instagram, but now knowing that, you know, it's having the impact that it's having on young women in this country, I'm not thrilled about that.
Yeah.
But I'm a TikTok and Twitter user more than anything else. I don't regularly post on my Instagram story anymore. I used to post like every day, but you know, now I need to probably post. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I look at Instagram every day. I look at TikTok more than anything, and Twitter probably third.
Well, Twitter is different though. Like,
Twitter is where
social media, but it's different.
Twitter is where I get my news.
Yeah.
I use Twitter as a news source. That's pretty much why I have Twitter and what I use it for.
And you interact with people, and Twitter's very different from the other two. That's for sure.
DeCobber 1981 says, what do you think the floor ceiling is with Jacob Conover? Well, I think we kind of covered that.
Yeah, we covered that.
You can go back to the beginning and listen, but I mean, he has the chance to be the best quarterback that's ever played at BYU, or he could be the worst. There, does that cover it? I think that covers it. Let's talk about the deck real quick before we get out of here, because you know I have really struggled with contractors. Really struggled with contractors. We had our bathrooms redone. It was a flipping disaster.
Mm-hmm.
We had pavers put in. It did not. The bathroom job turned out well. The paver job turned out really well. But dealing with the contractors has been a nightmare.
I will downsize your face with a shovel.
An absolute nightmare. And so now my wife goes out without my permission and buys a $10,000 hot tub.
Do you want to set up the meeting?
She paid for it with NFTs. She didn't.
Wow.
We made the decision to go out and buy a hot tub. So we went to the hot tub show, picked out our hot tub. Everything was great. Well, what they don't tell you is there's like 10 G's more you got to do. On top of the 10 G's you pay for the tub. So we have tried to get an electrician to wire the harness. The hot tub won't be here till December. But you have to have a whole wiring thing done. The guy just finally, after 3 weeks of asking, sent me his insurance and his state license yesterday. After 3 weeks of asking. And we went through I think we got 3 or 4 bids for a deck guy. One guy came over and was laying on our patio furniture, scratching his balls oh man, I'm so tired. The other guy was $8 million.
Yeah.
So on the show, Teddy Wayman said, well, hey, my cousin owns a construction company. So, of course, it's okay, well, I'll give this guy a shot. What do I have to lose? He certainly can't be any worse than any other of these assholes that came by my house. Well, it's actually worked out really well. We gave the job to Wayman Brothers Construction, and he did a bid. He revised the bid for us. And last week, he showed up and poured footings. Yesterday, he showed up and ripped the deck off the back of our house and completely rebuilt and installed a new deck. And today, he's going to come and finish that. He's got to put it's called Trex, the boarding on top of the deck.
Mm-hmm.
But his guys actually cleaned up after themselves.
It's amazing how that works, isn't it?
Which has never happened to us before.
Mm-hmm.
Even the paver guy left a mess. The guys who did our bathroom were absolutely terrible. The worst ever.
Yeah, and that was on the inside of the house, obviously.
And we had to pay people to clean that. It was terrible. It was really, really bad. But these guys, used a broom and a rake. They took away all the wasted wood. They made sure to pick up nails. They know we have dogs, so they picked up any broken or bent nails. It looks better than when they got here yesterday.
Yeah.
And they communicated. They actually oh my God, knocked on the door and said, hey, we ran out of nails, so we're not going to be able to finish this job today, but we'll be back between 8:30 and 9:30 tomorrow morning, and depending on traffic or whatever he said. And, yeah, we'll be here tomorrow. They leave, and then the owner of the company, Alma, sends me a text message. He's hey, by the way, my guys ran out of nails. They'll be back tomorrow with the Trex, and we'll finish it up tomorrow. And then after that, we're going to pour the pad for the actual tub.
There you go. It's literally that simple.
How difficult is this?
No, it's not.
Right? This is not difficult.
Yeah. This is good customer service.
At all.
Really good customer service.
Yeah. It's been so hard to find a contractor. And if he finishes this job, I'm going to let him remodel my kitchen too. I will let this guy, if this guy does this job through to completion and does it well, I would not hesitate to hire him again.
And that's how it works in the industry. You do a good job, you provide good customer service, and all of a sudden you're making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on one person. And that's how it works.
It's that simple. And how did we find out about Wayman Brothers? We got a referral.
Yep. And
again, I'm just telling you, it is really hard to find a contractor right now. So I'm thrilled with him.
So thank you, Teddy.
Yeah. Spencer Morgan says, I agree with Jeremy, who said, I don't know where Jeremy is. I don't know what Jeremy said, because frankly, there's too many comments. Kay Newren says, you are right. I have TV, computer on my phone. Jazz need to wake up. You're right.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's talking about what? Why do people hate soccer so much? I am a passionate Chelsea football fan.
Mm-hmm.
I love Chelsea Football Club. I do. That is one of my favorite things to enjoy. There's not much I enjoy more than that. Although
the MLS is crap. That's why.
The MLS is a joke.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I can't watch it.
Yeah.
With all due respect.
Yeah.
And that's about all the respect you're due. Like tonight, Yankees, Red Sox won't be missing that. We're working out at lunch today, or I'll work out alone because you're a lazy fat ass.
Mm-hmm.
I'll work out alone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kidding. I'm the one who didn't want to work out. Yeah, I felt terrible yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know how you explain that.
Good God. Well, I know how you explain it. I walked 6,900 steps on Saturday, or burned 6,900 calories, walked 13,000 steps on Saturday, I think.
Yeah, it's a lot.
After having lifted. And then Sunday morning we got up and we went and worked out again. We lifted some more. And then I think I had a cup and a half of water on Sunday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was terribly dehydrated. I woke up with a migraine yesterday and just felt like garbage all day long yesterday.
Yeah.
So, thank you. Marcus says, I've noticed you've lost weight. I've tried. You know what? We've really worked hard on the nutrition piece of our life.
Yep.
Like it's been changing my nutrition. And, I fought my wife on it for a long time. I'll be honest with you. When it comes to nutrition, I'm the problem in our marriage. Like my wife will eat she'll walk outside and just lay in the grass and eat lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Like she will just eat the grass off the ground. And she'll be like, oh, I'm so full. I am a meat guy. So I will eat a burger.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that's changed is, one, my wife called me fat. So now I've changed the way I eat. But I just don't eat bad food usually.
Fat?
Yeah, we had French fries the other day for the first time in who knows how long.
Yeah.
I had a candy bar Saturday afternoon coming home.
Right.
Which saved my life because I felt so much better after that. But other than that, we don't really eat that. We eat fruit. Like yesterday for lunch, I had ground turkey and a bag of peas.
Yeah.
A bag of steamed peas.
I think just eating at home is it's simple. It's easy. You just have to prepare yourself on the weekends.
You do have to prepare yourself. And I think too many times it's easy not to prepare yourself.
Yeah.
And when you meal prep, so we have this Traeger smoker, we need to be meal prepping every day. And for every day on the weekends is generally what we do.
Yeah.
So I think I have wings upstairs that we smoked.
You have wings, ground turkey. You got everything you need.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, and so my point is, I feel like it's one of those things where you have to really want. I think you have to really want to do well.
Yeah, you do. You do. It's a choice. Absolutely, it's a choice, and I think it takes effort, and it's not easy.
It's not easy at all. I think it's one of those things where you just don't understand how hard it is until you try to do it.
Yep.
And I feel like we've kind of crossed a threshold nutritionally where it's not difficult for me to eat well anymore. I've gotten to a place where we now eat for utility. I don't generally eat for comfort,
right.
Which is exactly how it needs to be. Eating out of emotion or comfort is just terrible for you.
Yeah, I mean you're just making the wrong choices from a health perspective. It might be fun
consistently making the wrong choice.
Yeah, I mean it might be enjoyable to eat, but that doesn't make it good for you.
No, it doesn't. And so I've really enjoyed it. And I actually Saturday I was thrilled. I almost wanted to yell in our gym. Being able to bench press 225 10 times is something I've been trying to do for a couple of months. And I felt like I was pretty able to do it.
Yeah.
And, the other thing has been that getting thinner, I've stopped taking creatine for a minute here because I really am trying to shed weight. And I never thought I'd be able to gain the strength I've gained without having creatine in my arsenal. And so to be able to bench 225 10 times was fantastic.
Yeah.
To be able to, see definition in my arms, my biceps, triceps, that's great. To see my waist shrinking, my midsection shrinking, it's everything I've tried to do. And it's not a gimmick. That's the thing. It is not a gimmick.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing too is you have to, it's not only the right food, but it's the portion you eat as well. I think, even if you over portion the right kind of food, you're not going to be able to cut because it's too much. So that's the other thing. So I just think, you finally have found your way with it. And I think that's great. And I think you're, I don't have any doubt that you've lost weight. I mean, you can see it. It's harder for you because you look at yourself every day. We all look at ourselves.
Oh, and I have terrible body image. Awful.
Yeah. So, but it's very clear that you've cut. There's no doubt.
Oh, yeah, my clothes all fit me better and all the normal stuff, but
Yeah.
it's because I eat less. Like, I have a good breakfast. I generally eat lunch around 2 o'clock, and then I don't generally eat much more after that.
Yeah.
I'll have protein. I'll eat a protein bar. I usually drink 80 ounces of water every day. I'm telling you, if you don't own one of these, and you're a big thermos guy, but
Yep.
this is a metal cup from Ghost. It's a blender bottle. It's a metal blender bottle from Ghost Protein is where I got it from Ghost Lifestyle. I drink 4 of those every day. I have a black one and a red one. And it keeps your water cold, and I just love it. And when I use it, I drink 80 ounces of water every day. I do. James Knight says, school teacher update, please. Yeah, Jake, where are you at with the school teacher?
Seeing her tonight or tomorrow. Yeah. She had a little bit of an issue last night. Not that I was supposed to see her last night, but we were just talking, and I guess the water went out in like her place or something. Because there's a bunch of construction happening by her apparently, so like the water was off, and so yeah, no, it's going fine.
Mm-hmm. It's shocking to me you guys just don't talk on the phone.
Well, we're in a different time now.
Like you don't talk about how are you ever going to get to know each other if you don't talk on the phone? This feels so much like a catfish, but you've met her in person already.
Yeah, it's not a catfish, dude. It's not. Not even close.
Have you ever FaceTimed or talked on the phone?
No, we haven't.
Not
we met.
once.
Because
That's
we
weird.
met.
Okay.
It's not weird. It's not weird.
All right. Fat Jesus says, I'm guessing that Wayman made it clear to you that you would complain about him on the show every day if the job and communication wasn't amazing. I didn't, actually, though. Brylar said, got to give Teddy a finder's fee. Send him a $100 gift card or something. I really should. Fat Jesus says, women have Instagram to make them feel bad about their bodies. Men have their wives. True.
Excellent point.
Excellent point.
Excellent point.
You know. What's going on with DeAndre Ayton?
They're not offering him a max, or they're reluctant to.
Ayton, oh, wow. DeAndre Ayton, a key part of the Suns' run in 2021, has no intention of accepting a deal less than a comparable max contract to that of several of his 2018 classmates. The Suns' reluctance to offer a maximum rookie contract extension to DeAndre Ayton has stalled discussions on a new deal. Now, look, I like DeAndre Ayton. I'm a fan of DeAndre Ayton. But he's soft. He's soft as hell. He doesn't catch the ball well. And he doesn't like to kill people. And it's the same complaint I have about Rudy Gobert. They're soft. They are soft. And when you're a big in this league, you better be a dominant big. Because if you are not a dominant big, you're not going to be in this league for long. And at least Rudy's an elite defensive player. DeAndre Ayton is not. He is a good finisher. He is a quality, mid-range player. DeAndre Ayton is not irreplaceable.
Yeah.
And I would not offer him a max. I agree with what they're doing. Jonathan Belknap says, guys, I'm from Boise. Our D-line is destroyed. We have injuries all over the field. We will get smoked by BYU regardless who their QB is.
Okay.
Yeah, injuries are the worst. But this was always going to be a transition period for Boise. I think Boise needs to get into the Big 12. Boise, if it bides its time, will end up in the Big 12, in my opinion. Because I don't think the Big 12's done expanding.
College football is always changing.
Yeah. I agree.
It's just endless cycles.
Brylark says Ayton is in a very similar situation about Rudy. We'll see if the Suns make the same mistake.
Yep.
Don't offer him a max because he said so. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I agree completely.
What do you curl? Oh, like arm curls? The other day, what was I doing? 40 pounds?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge fan of lifting heavyweight. I think there's a purpose for it. If you're a power lifter or if you're a competitor, I totally get it. I'm 48 years old, and I'm just trying to be in better shape for snowboarding season, and we're going to Hawaii for Thanksgiving.
In a van down by the river.
I just want to have sex in a van down by the river. I do not want... I will never... And Jake and I disagree about this, and he disagrees with me on it. I will never be a guy who tries to bench more than 225. I'm not a 3 plates, 15 reps guy.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see the need for it. I don't see the need. Like I can flat press 100-pound dumbbells 6 times. Why do I need to do more than that?
You don't.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you don't. It's true. You don't.
I can shoulder press probably 135, 140 pounds. I don't need to do more than that.
Yeah.
So I worry about the risk of injury because when you're old and decrepit, such as myself, if I tear a pec bench pressing, that's a long recovery.
Yeah.
That's a painful recovery, right? If I'm going to get hurt, I'm going to slam myself on a hill somewhere snowboarding.
Yeah.
That's how I'm willing to do it. So, I just want better core strength. I'm not a guy, I don't believe in crunches. I'm not somebody who's like, oh, we got to do like 1,000 crunches today.
Yeah.
I'm not doing 1,000 crunches. I'll do my compound lifting. My core is really strong right now. And I don't we don't regularly work core on its own. We don't. And my core is really strong because of we pay attention to like form and technique. Brylark says, don't need to lift heavy if you're losing weight. Just keep the heart rate up and you're and you're golden no matter what you're doing. Yeah. And you know what? You know, the thing that helped yesterday, I took two like 10, 15 minute walks, which was great.
Yeah.
Teacher's going to be flat pressing Jake tonight.
Hope so.
The Nye guy says.
Hope so.
Let's hope so.
All right. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, we got to go.
All right.
Hey, if you're here right now, please give us a thumbs up. Liking the show, giving us a thumbs up every day really helps the channel grow. Hit subscribe. Take a picture that you're subscribed. Tag us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok. The Monty Show for me. Jake is SLC Supercars. You're entered to win the Traeger Smoker, and we're also going to give away this Xbox. By the way, thank you on the audio podcast. We have had an incredible run on the audio podcast on this show. Anywhere you want a podcast, just search The Monty Show, MONTY, The Monty Show. Get on Google and just Google search The Monty Show. MONTY, The Monty Show. Love you, appreciate you. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.